for people who want to do what you've done of build an encyclopedic mind, how do you actually do that, and how did you do it?
I think that you can, it's to me more than you might not ultimately, if you got like an encyclopedia this size of all of this, you might not ultimately read every single word page to page, but I think that it's probably more fruitful to, start reading and then, you see references to other things. And so you go from reference to reference. You're reading about Plato and then it mentions that, Aristotle is his pupil. So then you go read about Aristotle or you read about the pre-Socratics. And so if you sort of go from reference to reference to reference, and then when you come to, okay, I followed the threads back, now I can go back to where I originally was and I'll keep reading and I'll pick up the next thread and I'll follow it through. So
I mean,
I
like
think that's a bit.
one thing that I do is I'll find an encyclopedia for a specific domain. Like I might have a encyclopedia of philosophy where it's just about philosophy, and then I might
Absolutely.
skip or like a handbook, or even some of these things they're called a dictionary, but it's kind of like actually an encyclopedia.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever do that where it's a subject specific thing and you're like for me, what I like about it is it's almost like a standardized test. Like
Mm-hmm.
what percentage of these words do I recognize? And the other thing I like about it is that you'll have a lot of textbooks that are actually pretty biased, especially more in the social sciences where you have schools of thought and they want to exclude who they don't agree with. They will include those people in an encyclopedia because it really does need to include all the different major theorists and theories. So, do you ever do that where it's like a subject domain specific encyclopedia?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't have it here anymore where it is, but from the University of Chicago, I got the Encyclopedia of the History of Religions by Mircea Eliade, and that was just everything having to do with religion and cult and stuff like that. So it's a very huge multi-volume set only dealing with religion, history of religion. So I've seen similar like encyclopedias of philosophy that I've had in my hands on various times, and yeah.
But do you actually read it cover to cover, or do you skip through it, or do you just reference specific articles when you need to look something up?
Like I said, I would more start reading and then like, okay, if I'm reading about Zoroastrianism, then okay, then I might go, oh, Zoroastrianism morphed into Mithraism. And then I read about Mithraism. I say Mithraism had influence upon Christianity, early Christian cults. And so I go to Christian
Yeah.
cults and then I see the Christian cults, then what we talked about more so I'm sort of following the thread. And like I said, I might not end up, going reading the entire every if it's 7,433 pages, I might not read every single one of them, but by recursively going back and saying, okay, here's the thread that I left off, then I can pick up again. So once I
Yeah.
exhaust the trail that I'm following, then I'll go back and pick up another trail.